Have you ever thought about two ideas that seem like they just can't exist together? Well, today we're tackling a huge one, the divine dilemma. We're talking about perfect justice and perfect mercy. I mean, think about it. Justice demands that wrongs are punished, right? But mercy offers a pardon. So how could one being, God, be both of those things, perfectly, at the exact same time? It seems impossible. Let's get into it. So let's just put the question right out there, plain and simple. Can you be 100% just, making sure every single debt is paid, while also being 100% merciful, offering total forgiveness? That, right there, is the heart of the divine dilemma we're exploring today. All right, here's our roadmap. We'll start by really defining this dilemma. Then we'll dig into the scriptures to see where this tension comes from, this tale of two attributes. After that, we'll take a quick look at how other worldviews handle this, which really sets the stage for the unique Christian solution. And finally, we'll see exactly where these two incredible forces meet. Okay, section 1, the divine dilemma. Is this really an impossible choice? I mean, does one of these amazing attributes have to win out over the other? Let's see. So here's the conflict in a nutshell. On one side, you have perfect justice. It's impartial, it's fair, and it absolutely demands that every wrong is paid for, no exceptions. But then on the other side, you've got perfect mercy, which is all about compassion and withholding a punishment that is totally 100% deserved. You can already feel them pulling in opposite directions, can't you? Let's bring this down to a human level for a second. Picture a judge in a courtroom. Their entire job is to uphold the law, right? Now, what if that judge just started letting guilty people walk free because, I don't know, they felt bad for them? We wouldn't praise them for being merciful. We'd call them unjust, maybe even corrupt. We expect justice from them. So how can God do something that we would find completely unacceptable in our own justice system? So where does this whole idea even come from? Well, this tension isn't something we just made up. It comes directly from the scriptures themselves, which describe a God who has both of these perfect, yet seemingly contradictory qualities.
First up, let's talk about mercy. And get this, the Bible is absolutely filled with it. We're talking over 360 direct references to God's mercy. This isn't just some minor theme. It is a massive, core part of who God is, from Genesis all the way to Revelation.
And it's not just about the numbers. The descriptions are so powerful. I mean, listen to this from the prophet Jonah, of all people. He describes God as gracious and compassionate, slow to anger, and abounding in love. It's a picture of a God whose very nature leans away from punishment and towards love. And the Psalms? Oh, they just double down on this idea. This verse from Psalm 145 says God's mercy isn't just for a select few. No, it's universal. It extends over everything he's ever made. The picture you get is of a being who's just overwhelmingly merciful. But just when you think you've got it all figured out, the story takes a really sharp turn. Because that same Bible is equally, and I mean equally, clear about another one of God's attributes: a perfect, absolute, and totally unbending justice. Just listen to this from the prophet Isaiah. God himself defines his own character by this quality. Justice isn't just something God does, it's who God is. The scripture calls him a righteous or just God. It's completely inseparable from his identity. And this justice isn't some abstract idea. It has real consequences. The New Testament is very clear that sin is a big deal. This verse from Colossians puts it bluntly. Because of wrongdoing, the wrath of God is coming. And that's the active side of justice, a righteous, necessary response to evil. So there you have it. The stage is set. The dilemma is real. So how in the world do you solve a puzzle like this? Well, it's interesting to look at how other worldviews tackle this problem because it really makes the Christian perspective stand out. Okay, so what you see here is a fundamentally different approach. In a lot of other belief systems, for mercy to happen, justice kind of has to take a back seat. The law gets broken, and a God might just decide to ignore the penalty. So in that view, mercy wins by canceling out justice. But Christianity makes this really radical claim that mercy doesn't happen at the expense of justice. It happens through justice. The law isn't just swept under the rug. It's completely and totally fulfilled. And that brings us to the very heart of our explainer today. We're talking about the Christian solution, a theological idea called penal substitution. So what in the world is that? Well, penal substitution is the idea that Christ's death on the cross wasn't just some tragedy. It was a purposeful act. It was a substitute punishment for all of humanity's sin. And in doing so, it satisfied the absolute non-negotiable demands of God's perfect justice. Now, it's important to know this is one of a few major atonement theories in Christianity, but it's totally central to understanding how justice and mercy can work together. Let's break that down step by step. Okay, step 1. God's justice is perfect, so it demands that sin has to be punished. That's the fixed requirement. Step 2. God's mercy is also perfect, so it desires to save people from that very punishment. That's the heart of compassion. Step 3 is the game changer. Christ willingly steps in and takes the full punishment as a substitute. So what's the result? Step 4, justice is completely satisfied. The debt is paid in full. And because of that, step 5, mercy can now be extended completely and freely because that legal barrier, that demand of justice, has been met. And this all leads us to our final section, to the absolute climax of this incredible story. The single point in all of human history where these two divine attributes don't clash, but converge in perfect harmony. The cross. Within this framework, it's everything. It is the ultimate display of God's unyielding justice against sin, and at the same time, his limitless mercy towards sinners. It's the one place where they aren't enemies, but are expressed in perfect, powerful unity. And this right here is how the whole dilemma gets resolved. Think about it. God's justice wasn't watered down or compromised one bit. It was poured out completely on Christ. And because that justice was fully served, God's mercy could then be poured out freely and completely to us, without compromising anything. Both justice and mercy are held up in their absolute perfection. You know, the Apostle Paul just nails this whole concept in his letter to the Romans. He says God did all of this to show his own righteousness so that he could be both just, upholding his perfect standard, and at the very same time, be the one who justifies, the one who makes sinners right with him through faith in Jesus. I mean, wow, it's the whole solution in one sentence. So why does any of this matter to us? Because the outcome is life-changing. For anyone who believes, they're considered justified or made right. They're saved from the wrath that justice requires. They get to freely experience God's grace and mercy, and there's no condemnation left. It really does change everything. So, we'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. If forgiveness isn't just about God ignoring a wrong, but about that wrong being fully and completely paid for at an infinite cost, well, how does that change what it really means to be forgiven?